All right, hey, what's up, guys? Coach Mac, Play Fast Football. Remember, check out our sponsors, GameStrat, all right, which will have a link in the description box below to take you straight to GameStrat's website. It is our sideline replay system. If you're looking for the #1 choice for coaches, looking for the fastest, most reliable sideline replay system, make sure you check out GameStrat. All right, MAXOne App, which is an app that streamlines for a head coach. It streamlines organization, communication, workouts, all in one platform. You can have your schedules up there. You can have your practice schedules, team schedules, any camps you had set up you could have in there. You can message your team and communicate if there's a change in a date, change in a time, change in a practice. You can have your workouts in there so your players can see all the workouts on their phone. If they had their phone in the weight room, they could do their own individual workouts off the phone. If they had to go out of town, if they had to go away and they couldn't be at workouts, they could do the workout while they're out of town because they can pull the workout on their phone and then they can log in. The workout that they did has leaderboards on there. Coach can check, all right, who's doing their workouts, and then the team can compete with some things, all right, on workout leaderboards. The Difference USA, which is the ultimate striking machine where you can work on striking and hand placement. We have one in our weight room right now. They also make universal attachments for you to take out on the field, so you can put them out on the field so you can have striking machines that are in your weight room, striking machines that are outside. Get extra reps with all your players on striking, proper hand placement, elbows in, thumbs up, where to place those hands, different spring adjustments to make the tension more difficult for guys to actually get the pad, all right, pressed in. So get extra reps using the ultimate striking machine, the Difference USA. All right, JustPlayFB is the digital software tool I use, the diagram tool that I use when I'm drawing plays for webinars. If I'm drawing plays when I speak at clinics, I use JustPlayFB. Take your game to the next level using JustPlay digital software. Defensive Coordinator 1, which is an in-game app, launched last January. This will be the first full season teams are using it. Allows somebody upstairs to be logging in real live in-game data so that you can then chart your calls that you're making against the calls that are actually being run against you. Chart which calls were good against certain things. See what's happening on first down. See what they're doing out of formations. See what they're doing throwing the ball. See if they have the same field boundary tendencies or the same down and distance run pass tendencies. Take a look at the things that you've been calling, take a look at the things that they've been calling, and then kind of match up what calls are good, what calls aren't good, so you can make live in-game adjustments based on that live in-game data. All right, and then Dome Hats, which is the headwear sponsor of Play Fast Football. All right, this is a Dome hat right here that they made for us. Play Fast Football on the back, logo on the front. All right, Dome is custom quality. All right, hats, beanies, visors, trying to get work across the country, getting in every sport, every staff. We know everybody uses hats, whether they're fundraisers, whether they're part of your uniform, whether you use them for your staff, whether you use them for administrators, members of the community. Get your team out there, get your logos out there, get yourself a hat that you can put into people's hands so that they can identify with your brand, so that you can build your brand. All right, and Dome is going to be a big sponsor of the first Play Fast Football Clinic coming up in January, so check out Dome Hats. You can check them out at www.domeheadwear.co. All right, I want to do a video today on early reps in camp, something that's very important to me. All right, we've talked in the past, we've talked about practice plans, we've talked about camp installs, we've talked some different things. Today I want to talk about how you can do some things that where you can steal some extra reps, making sure that you're getting quality reps on both sides of the ball. And these are things that I kind of harp to my coaches all the time about how we can be getting extra reps, how can we be stealing extra reps, how can we do drills a little bit more efficiently. All right, so I'm going to give you a couple of drills where I think things carry over on offense and defense and how we do them and how it might be done a little bit differently than some other places and what we focus on early in camp. All right, so one of the first drills we do early in camp is we do an inside run drill, R6 in the box on defense and our 3-3 stack, work against our 5 linemen and a sniffer. We really don't care when we are in a defensive focus. We don't care necessarily where that tailback is. We're looking to fit things off the blocks that we see in our base defense. We're looking to get our 6 to fit off the blocks of their 6, all right, and how they're blocking certain things. Now, a way to get extra reps for this is I try and get our offensive line and our sniffer, all right. I want to run our plays. I don't want to run things off a scout card. I'm not interested this early in camp at what my week 1 opponent is running. I'm not interested in my kickoff classic, what they're running. I'm not interested in game planning run fits versus the runs that we're going to see in week 1 of the season. what I'm interested in is I'm interested in us getting run fits on this side, block rec on this side, striking people on this side, while this side works on getting our calls and our communication. Okay, so that, all right, we might be working on our veer kick play. We might be working on our veer insert play. All right, we might be working on our power play. I want those things to be run from our offense the way our offense hears them and the way our offense blocks them. All right, I want our O-lineman to hear the call. I want our sniffer to hear the call. I want them to execute a blocking assignment that is a play that we run. All right, all while our 6 guys in the box, okay, are then working on fitting those runs based on what we're getting. All right, so we got schemes where we get, all right, base blocks and double teams working here. All right, and then base blocks out, and we got an insert scheme. We have to fit that a certain way. I want to make sure that our defense fits it a certain way, while at the same time I want to make sure that our offense, all right, is blocking what they need to block because it's a play that we're running. All right, we might change and now run it to where we run, all right, a veer kick and we climb here. Again, double team there. These two work out the same way there. All right, but now we are going to kick this end. All right, so now I better get a response on this side based off that veer release inside and that fullback coming. I better get that end and this linebacker to trigger where I need them in our run fits, and I better get our offense to understand that that's the kick play, not the insert play. All right, we'll change sides. We'll put the fullback on the other side, all right, so that both sides can see both sides of our defense. Obviously, both sides of our defense, we want them to see insert schemes, base block schemes. We want our ends and our backers to see down block schemes. And then we also want our Mike, all right, to see schemes where he's got to fit downhill or schemes where he might have to rock back and play a pull-up. All right, so we'll then get on this side and we'll run our kick, we'll run our insert, all right, and then, all right, we'll run power. So we'll get on this side and we'll go work a power scheme where we pull that backside guard. So now, when we're working our run fits, okay, sorry, on the backside, we'll get hinged. When we're working our run fits now, I want to make sure that this end sees this down block and works under. I want to make sure that this backer sees this and scrapes paint tight. I want to make sure that my mic, if we send the nose this way and my mic is reading this guard, I want to make sure my mic takes his steps to read and then he reacts back to the pull. Depending on the angle of the tackle, he's either going to go flat under the tackle or he's going to go over the tackle, depending on how flat or how high the tackle is climbed. On the backside, I need these two guys to realize the hinge scheme so that when they see that hinge scheme and he sees the hinge with the pull, all right, I need him to take his steps and then realize he's got to fit and fall behind, okay, that run play right there, because on his side, he's getting this kind of veer release hinge, but then he's also getting a puller. So we got to talk about getting, all right, bigger vision on not only the read of what the tackle's doing, but we got to get bigger vision on what that guard's doing. That guard's going away from us. We've got to rock back with that. All right? So all the while we're doing that, we are not going off scout cards. It's our 6 in the box working on base defensive stuff, and then we're working against, all right, our offensive plays so that our offensive line can get, and our sniffer can get reps upon reps upon reps. If there's a 15-minute period, all right, I want 20 to 25 reps in this thing. I want every play both ways, everybody getting a down block rep and an insert rep and a pull rep or a power rep. I want everybody getting all the same things. All right, and then when it's a defensive focus, one of the things that we'll do when it's a defensive focus is every once in a while we'll mix some movement in there so that our guys can now fit things when we're moving. So we'll mix in a movement with the stack backer coming off the edge. So now we've got movement mixed in, okay? And now we're working on moving the right way, making sure our D lineman is moving appropriately, making sure their stance and their steps are appropriate to where they're moving, making sure we get to the gap that we're in, making sure that our guy coming off the edge understands how he's going to play those blocks as an edge player, making sure our other end understands how he's going to play those blocks as an edge player. So now we get some movement worked in, and then our offensive line has got to work against starting to get used to seeing movement, seeing how guys move and things change, and working double teams against movement, working cutoff blocks or whatever we're working on against movement or insert schemes against movement. So now we're getting movement from our 6, and we're still getting a ton of reps from our offense because we're not going off a card. We're still running our stuff. Now, we'll do the same drill from an offensive perspective, and a lot of the times from an offensive perspective when we started off, we'll start it off from an offensive perspective, and we'll work where the defense is maybe in an even. We'll start off with a 6-man even box, okay? And now when we're doing this, we're doing the same thing, except we're going to add 1 or 2 theories because we want to make sure our offense, we want to run our veer scheme and we want to be able to read it. We want to run our veer with a kick. We want to run our veer with an insert, okay? We want to run our power schemes, and then we want to run our tackle, wrap, or dart schemes, okay? So we want to run our schemes when we turn around and we make it an offensive emphasis. Now that it's an offensive emphasis, we're going to put the defense in the front that we want to work against that day because it's an offensive emphasis. But the thing is, I still want my D-line coaches coaching, even though we're an odd stack team, block rec is still the same, block destruction is still the same, so those ends can be taught the same way, and then you can take 2 nose guards and teach them how to play in a 1 and a 3 and block rec, even though as a nose in our stack, they move. When they move, they still have to block rec off the next adjacent lineman. So now that you're in a 1, you've moved here, block rec off that guard. Now that you're in a 3, okay, block rec off that guard. So it's a little bit different than our defense, but I still want our guys coaching. I want my linebacker coach talking about windows and how to fit windows and how to scrape. Even though we don't play a 4-2 box, I still want our guys coaching because I want to steal as many reps as I possibly can. All right, so when we do this drill, over here we've got a D-line coach. We've got a linebacker coach, okay? Over here we have an O-line coach, all right? And then we have me standing over here. So we got at least 4 coaches over here that should be working in that drill to get as many reps as possible, all right? And try and steal as many reps as we can possibly get with our offense and our defense, with our offense and a scout front that we're working against. But while we're working in that scout front, talk to guys about block rec. Just because it's an offense, sometimes guys get confused. If this is an offensive emphasis, and we're working against an even front that we don't play on defense, these 2 guys over here should be coaching every down. Every down. Block rec is block rec. Block destruction is block destruction. Doesn't matter what front you play. Get guys to block rec. Get guys to squeeze. Get guys to play base blocks. Get guys to play reach or blocks coming out. Get them to get hands on. Get them to strike. Get linebackers to fit open windows. Get linebackers to learn how to scrape. Get linebackers how to rock back when they see pullers. Okay, so always try and get maximum reps every time you're doing a drill. All right, maximum reps, maximum reps, maximum reps. When we do our palms drill, all right, and we work our palms drill, we are going to be working against 2 receiver sets. So we're going to be working against a Q, a tail, a slot, and a wide receiver. All right, and we're going to be working with our corner. We're going to be working with one of our down safeties, our free safety, and one of our stack linebackers. Okay. These guys are working the palms drill. All right, they're working how we play our pattern match 2-read defense versus 2 remove receivers. At the same time, I want these guys to be running our combinations. I want them to hear our combinations called. I want them to hear what the call is so they know. I want the back to know, all right, when he's out in a flare or when he might be tight or when he might be vertical or when he might run an angle or something else. I want our offense hearing our combinations. I want our quarterback taking proper drops and making proper reads. I don't ever want this to be a drill because it's a defensive-orientated palms drill or a 2-read drill. I don't ever want this to be a drill where it's just the defense working. I want my offense to work. I want my receiver coach, who I normally let call the offense in these drills if my focus is over here. I want my receiver coach working on receivers running routes. I want him talking about splits. I want him walking our combinations, talking to them in our verbiage, in our terminology, so that every player here knows that this drill, although it's set up on a defensive day to be a defensive drill, doesn't make it, all right, an opportunity to not work on offense. Work on your combinations, your verbiage, terminology, your reads, your drops, your splits, your routes, your depths. Work on everything over here so that you're not wasting a day because of how we practice. You're not wasting a day not getting offensive reps. This is your chance to get all your offensive reps. So whether you're running snag, corner, flat, all right, fine, that's your combination. Use our verbiage, run the play. If you're running curl flat, all right, if you're running curl here, flat here, check down or spot there, fine, that's one of our combinations. Use our verbiage, run the play. If you're running some type of sail or flood, if you're running this vert out there, you're running that on the sail and you're running that to the flat, fine, that's our combination. We got to cover that as a defense, And at the same time that we're covering it as a defense, we got to make sure that our offense is hearing our terminology, our verbiage. We want them to know how we call it, what the routes are, what the splits are, what the depths are, and coach the heck out of both sides of the ball. If you have enough coaches to do it, so when I'm doing this, all right, on this side of the ball, if I have a safeties coach, and I have a corners coach, and I have a backers coach, and on this side I've got a wide receiver coach, and it happens to be me as a head coach, all right? If I've got 5 guys in the drill doing a half-line drill, we should be able to get a ton of reps, and then we should be able to be coaching every rep. As soon as all the coaches and all the players get familiar with the drill, you should then do the drill on both sides. So you have a group over here, then you bring an X and an H over here with another tailback over there, and then for us on defense, we put our other backer in here with another safety here, corner here, free safety here. We make our down safeties also play this and this. So our down safeties have to play down, high, and the corner version of palms, because in 3x1 they're going to play that version. So they got to play the low part, the high part. They also have to play the corner part. Once you have all those things in and you know the reps you're looking for and the things that you're coaching, steal as many reps as possible by using your offensive plays, using your defensive coverages, talking to your kids in your terminology, running your combinations, playing your coverages. All right? Early in camp, we are always trying to get as many reps as possible, because I'm not worried about what the kickoff classic team or what the week 1 opponent, I'm not worried about what they're doing. Palms coverage is palms coverage. It's got routes that have issues. It's got beaters. Okay? We've got to get the communication right. We've got to get the pass off and the matches right. Doesn't matter what we're working on right now. As soon as we start getting into the season, then we got to start working on what are the beaters, what gives us trouble, what are the offense's 3 best plays or combinations versus that coverage. Right now, you're not worried about that, or at least I'm not worried about that. Right now, I'm worried about reps, steal reps on offense and defense, coach reps on offense and defense. Get as many as possible, and once you know that drill, try and get it again. You got about a 15-minute period. You better be moving. You don't have time to be showing people cards and you do this, and you got to be calling things out and say, hey, you guys run that over there. Next play up, you guys are going to run that over there. Defense, you're playing palm. Okay. Next thing we'll do in that half-line drill as we get better at it is we'll start mixing the coverage up to the half-line side. We'll play some man free. We'll play some 2 deep. We'll play some things that we also have to play to the 2 receiver side. It starts as a palms drill, and then it manifests itself into other versions of that coverage so that we can play the coverages and our quarterbacks and our receivers can get used to seeing that, hey, that's not palms every down, because that's not realistic either. Eventually you want to be able to play other coverages, and you want to be able to, your quarterback and receivers and running backs and those guys, you want them to see other coverages. Early in camp, though, how do we steal reps? Keep it a palms drill, rotate your safeties, rotate your offensive players, get as many reps as possible. All right, one of the other drills we do, we try to get as many reps as possible, is we do an RPO drill. So we'll have a Q here, all right, with a sniffer here and a tail here, and we'll be working our Y side and our Z side. And over here, we're going to work all of our 2-man RPOs. Going to put a bag right here. All right, so on this bag is either going to be an end or this bag is going to be a backer. We are going to work on our insert schemes and our kick schemes with our fullback, our sniffer. So he hears it, he gets it. We're going to work on our meshes with our tailback. All right, and then you're going to have a coach here that is going to flip a ball to the Q after the mesh, and the quarterback's going to work on throwing our 2-man RPOs. While we're doing that, on the other side, we're going to have a fullback, tailback, a Q, and an X receiver. And we are going to work single side RPOs down here, and we're going to have a bag here and a bag here. All right, and our sniffer is going to work kick schemes and insert schemes. And then we're going to have a coach right here, so that we're going to work tailback meshes. Sorry, tailback should be behind the Q. And then the coach is going to flip the Q the ball, and we're going to throw our single side RPOs. So that we are facing each other. Both offensive groups are looking at each other about 20 yards apart. With this group on this side and this group on this side, we can be getting, with multiple coaches, we can be getting multiple reps. This side can be running all their RPO schemes to the 2 receiver side, keep changing it up and making different calls so these kids know what routes to run and your quarterback know what routes being run. They hear your verbiage, they hear your terminology. This side is running single side RPOs. You're changing the kick blocks and the insert blocks for the sniffer. Tailback's getting a mesh. Quarterback is now working on his single side RPOs. And instead of going side to side and wasting reps, you got this side going. All right. Again, this would be about 20 yards apart, facing each other. So this is about 20 yards apart. So these guys are on this side. These guys are on this side, 20 yards apart. None of these RPO routes on this side are going to get over here, and none of these RPO routes on this side are going to get over here, so we have no issues running into each other. We're not going to run routes into each other. They're going to stay on their half, bang out as many plays and RPOs as possible. They're going to stay on their half, bang out as many plays and RPOs as possible. Early on in camp, what are we worried about? Verbiage, terminology, everybody hearing it, meshing with the tail, quarterback making throws. Eventually, these RPO drills will turn into team drills where the quarterback, sooner or later, has to read something. Now, I'll jump in this drill every once in a while and give the quarterback a read, but early in camp, that's really not my concern. My concern is verbiage, communication. Do you know what we call these things? Do you know what this means when we make this run game call and this RPO call? Do you guys know the 4 different RPOs you can run on that side? Do you know the 3 different RPOs we can run on this side? That's the most important thing early in camp. I'm not worried about, all right, fully making reads yet. I do individual drills with my quarterbacks where I make them mesh and ride in the side and I make them read things in individuals. We have RPOs in team periods, okay? And as a matter of fact, we actually, on a script sometimes, we have a period that is nothing but RPOs, and that's 11 on 11. So when I'm doing that, now my quarterback knows. All right, now my quarterback knows he's got access reads to make. He's got mesh reads to make. He can give or he can pull and throw. So now when we're 11 on 11, now we're working on the read part of it, everything else. But when we're early in camp working on reps, trying to steal as many reps as possible, trying to get our guys to understand how we communicate, what our verbiage is, what our route combinations are, what our route combinations are to the 2 receiver side, what our route combinations are to the single side. Okay, we are trying to work on reps, 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 reps. I think it's important early in camp. I know it's important for me as a head coach. I am constantly trying to get it into my guys. I have a full coaching staff now of guys that I really like. I think they're going to be really good. We got together as a full staff really late. Some of them are new to some of the drills and what we're doing. Once those guys understand the practice plan and the drills we're trying to do, we will rip through all those things because I try to tell my assistants all the time, I don't want guys standing around. I want to be in drills. I want to be ripping it. I want to be repping it. I want an inside period to get 20 reps or 25 reps, and I want 7-on-7 period to get 20 or 25 reps. We try to practice fast. We try to play fast. Everything we're doing is about reps, reps, reps. As we get further along the season, that's when you got to worry about scout team. That's when you got to worry about what the opponent's doing to you. What formations are they running? What are their best runs? What are their best passes? Who are their best players? When you get to that part of the season, practices start to slow down a little bit because you got to use cards and things just kind of, the reps go down a little bit, but the reps have to be extremely high quality because you're not getting as many reps. All right, so I'm never saying that you want poor quality reps. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is early in camp, you're looking for the amount of reps to get the kids to do something over and over and over again until it's second nature while coaching them up on the quality of the rep. When you get into the season and your game planning, things will slow down a little bit because the fastest way you could ever do it in practice is if you have enough guys to have 2 scout teams. So you got a scout team here, you got your defense here, and you have a scout team back here. This scout team runs a play against your defense. After your defense makes that play, your defense then has to turn and run and get lined up, all right, down here to play a play against that scout team. You get more reps that way. You get some conditioning out of it because now this team, after they run their rep and the defense goes to go play the rep against the other scout team, this team should now be looking at cards to get the next play so that when the defense cycles back, you already have the play. If you're working with one scout team and cards, every time you run a play, they have to go back and look at the next card. So you know your practice is going to slow down. So when you're not dealing with that as far as game plans are concerned, early in camp, get as many reps as possible, maximize your reps, utilize the time that you have. You don't want the kids out there for 2.5 or 3 hours. They're going to lose focus. They're going to lose sight of what they're doing. Got an hour and 50 minutes. Get it done. Get in and out. work on the reps, steal as many as you can on offense and defense. In the season, that's when you got to worry about game plan. Okay, so hopefully this, guys, helps you a little bit with what you're doing or how you're doing it. Most of you guys are doing it already. This is just my opinion on it, how we do some things. As always on this channel, I'm just giving you my opinion of what I'm looking for, what I'm trying to do early in camp. This is practice 5, 6 for us. First day in pads was today. This was practice 6 for us. So these are the things we're trying to do early in camp before we even worry about getting to game plans and specific schemes. Okay, so hopefully this helps. Remember that the Play Fast Clinic, first inaugural Play Fast Clinic, is kicking off January 24th, 25th, 26th. That website should be up soon for you to register. It's at the Embassy Suites in St. Augustine, Florida, right on the ocean. Got a lot of great speakers lined up, state championship coaches, all high school coaches. All right, our problems, our solutions, our clinic, gearing this clinic towards high school coaches. So remember, keep that in the back of your mind. All right, guys, I hope this video helps you out. Hope camp is going good. Hope you all stay healthy, injury-free. Hope everything goes the way that you need it rolling into week 1. Remember, won't play well till you play fast. I'll see you guys next time.